Hi, everyone. Welcome back. It's Wednesday, 2:30 p.m. As promised, Julian and I are here. I'm adding him on our Instagram feed. There we are. I can see you.
Hello. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
Oh, just as great. Great to be here with you again.
Awesome. We're just trying to see where it doesn't echo what we're trying to do. So we're playing with different options here. I
Yeah.
hope. Okay, perfect, because that's what we want. No echo, right? So happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. What's going on? We
Lots of
have had great news. And should we tell them, Julian?
yes, definitely. We've been waiting for this for quite some time. For everybody's been looking at it. So yes, interest rates have finally started to improve, and it is very good news. Very long time coming. It feels like it's only been really since March since rates been going up, but they've been going up kind of exponentially month over month. So the kind of improvement we saw is the one that again makes everybody rejoice. So
Everybody, everywhere. I've gotten so many calls about this. Like, what can I do now? Right. So, a lot of people that have been waiting on the sidelines now, all of a sudden, kind of have perked their ears and trying to see what can they do. So, when we talk about the interest rates dropping, how much did they drop?
yeah, so interest rates depending on the loan product, anywhere from at least a half a percent to three quarters of a percent. Um, there was a point in time where we saw a percent improvement, but interest rates changed. Not a lot of people know this, but can change multiple times throughout the day, depending on different factors, and so. We saw a very positive reaction to the inflation report that came out last Thursday. We're starting to see the effects kind of take a hold of the economy in terms of what the Federal Reserve has been doing to increase the Fed fund rate to slow down inflation. And so, inflation report showed an improvement of I want to say 0.5% year over year on inflation. So it's a good sign. Again, as I've been saying, inflation is the enemy of mortgage rates. So as we start to see more of these inflation reports with lower inflation numbers, then you'll see more improvements with mortgage rates.
And we all like improvements. We all definitely like to see that interest rate drop because at the end of the day, what that does, it affects your purchase power and it also affects your monthly mortgage payment. So if we're just to give them a little idea of what that means, Julian, what are numbers? So like if I was pre-qualified at the higher interest rate, how much more purchase power can that give me? Or maybe how much does that make my monthly payment go down?
Yeah. So your for every quarter of a percent, you can probably expect an improvement of about 25,000 in um, in purchasing power. And in terms of your monthly payment, again, it kind of depends on a few different factors and price points. But I would say most buyers in the market probably saved a couple $100 on their monthly payment just from last week to this week.
And that is
So
a huge difference. You know,
yeah,
every penny counts. Every penny counts. We work really hard to earn our, our means, our income, right? So 200 can do a whole lot to our pockets just so we, you know, um, that purchasing power combination with a monthly payment, either you choose to go up in your purchase power or you just stay where you're at and you kind of drop in a combination with what the market is doing with inventory and still interest rates, doing their thing. We still have inventory. Now buyers are slowly coming back in. What does that mean for the buyers out there? Okay, guys, pay attention because it's very important. If you've been waiting on the sidelines, if and when interest rates improve, that means that more buyers come on the market, even though we currently have inventory, then we get into those bidding wars like we had. I'm not saying that that's happening, right? It's usually how the market responds to it. So, on that same token, I've been hearing a little buzz, Julian, about next year's rates and what is being projected, or what we're anticipating interest rates to do. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because with what I just said, I really want to make sure that buyers understand and be mindful of the decision they're making now, how it can affect them later next year if they're just waiting on the sidelines. And everybody's situation is different, so don't get me wrong. That's why we always encourage to talk to a professional and find out where you are so we can kind of guide you right in the right direction.
Yeah. So, all of the data and economists and mortgage experts that I've been, and the information I've been studying for months, have kind of led to this point. We knew that inflation was going to peak over the summer months, and so therefore interest rates were also going to peak over the summer months. And now we're kind of anticipating the opposite end of that, where inflation will start to reduce over the next couple months. So we saw the November report. We anticipate December report to show some improvement. And the more that happens and continues, the Federal Reserve will pause their plan and their economic outline for interest rates. And we're anticipating interest rates to be, in the low to mid fives, by Q2, end of Q1, Q2, possibly Q3. But sometime next year, we'll see these rates, improve significantly again. They've been manufactured and engineered to these highs that we've seen, over the last decade or so. So that these were never going to be permanent or a new norm, so to speak. So we left from one, again, side of the pendulum and swung to the other, and now we'll kind of start to find a balance somewhere in the middle, which historically speaking, interest rates have usually been somewhere around, 4 to 5%. So, it's kind of
We're not that far off, are we?
we're really not that far off. But like you mentioned, now that we've seen that the extent of what these Fed fund rate increases can do, that you know it's going to trigger that many more buyers to come back in. That FOMO is going to kick in once we start seeing those rates and the payments that go along with those rates. That again, we'll likely see an increase in demand because we already don't have enough inventory as it stands. So, the thing I think that you and I are both trying to say is that if you're not ready today, we totally understand that, and this is the point, is for us to give you the information you need, and also invite you to reach out so that we can work with you to help you get to where you need to be to take advantage of the opportunity.
Oh, for sure. Wouldn't it be nice to have a home for Christmas?
Yes, yeah.
Whether you're looking to buy or sell your current home and get into the next one. I mean, everything is planned. We plan everything. It's never too early to start, at least. But with discussing just precisely that, the interest rates and what the buzz is going on, I think it's fair to lead into kind of what the topic for today is, which is still, the buy downs. We talked about it last week. We talked about the temporary buy down. So today, Julian is going to be discussing a little bit more of the permanent buy down, and then compare them side by side, just because, we are trying to give you all the tools and knowledge to make your decisions, again, alongside with the professionals, to make the best decision for you. So we're going to be comparing both. We're going to go into that. If you are ready, Julian, let's definitely start discussing that. And what does that look like, right?
Yeah, definitely. So, we've been last week talked about our temporary buy down. And we just kind of wanted to also let the people know that there is a permanent buy down option, and there's pros and cons to both sides of the coin. And so I'm trying to get into presentation mode here for the folks following us online, and then I'll flip my screen here uh,
For Instagram.
for Instagram. Trying to do
Because
two things at
Instagram
once.
doesn't like us doing this whole all platforms in one.
Yeah, Instagram is its own beast and animal, and we'll figure it out here sooner or later.
The
But this,
whole idea is to get the message out.
yeah. So are you seeing my screen online?
Let's see. Oops, right there.
Let me zoom this
Now
out.
on Instagram, you need to back out a little bit so we're able to see. And then again, so all this is being it's going to stay on our feeds. And if you want to go, we'll leave down below when we're done with the live, as far as, you know, on Instagram, where to go to watch the full video, where you probably have a little bit more clarity on Facebook or YouTube. So you can certainly go there if you wanted to take a closer look at the numbers that we're going to be presenting.
Wonderful, wonderful. So yes, I wanted to show kind of to circle back to what we talked about earlier. This first column here is last week's rates on an FHA 30-year fixed rate mortgage. We were looking at a 6.875% rate, which would give you a monthly payment of $2,908. Now, fast forward to this week, and same parameters: FHA $400,000 sales price, 6.125% is the rate without doing any buy downs.
Okay.
So you can see here that's a almost $200 savings from last
Wow.
week to this week. So, you know, it's a tremendous savings again that we've all been waiting and looking for. And like you said, we work so hard, and we've seen our dollars get stretched out by inflation at the pump, at the grocery store, and just about everywhere you turn. So to see, you know, this much of an improvement in our mortgage payments is amazing. Um,
For
so
sure.
so yeah, that's the comparison, you know, from last week to this week, and then I'm going to slide this over just a little bit more and kind of get the permanent buy down into the queue here. So again, this is also an FHA 30-year fixed rate mortgage, and this is assuming that we get 10%. I'm sorry, not 10%, 10,000 from the seller to permanently buy down your interest rate. So we're comparing, you know, the standard financing without a buy down in column 2 here to what we could do with $10,000 from the seller to buy down your rate almost a percent to 5.25, and that's going to get your payment of 2,497, 2,500 basically. And so you can see there again, comparison between these two is a little bit over $200 in monthly savings. And then compare this to where we were last week with rates. You know, that's a $400 difference in payment from 1 week to the next. And so this is why we kind of, again, preach that importance of staying connected and tethered to your real estate agent, to your mortgage lender, because this could, you know, be a difference of, you know, maybe opening a few more doors because now you qualify for a higher, you know, price point, or again, now you qualify for this price point because of the reduction in monthly payment.
For sure. So inventory opens up a little bit more.
Yeah, it'll open a few more doors for you to consider, and you know, maybe look in a different, you know, location, what have you. It'll give you definitely some more, you know, options to choose from.
Right. Well, the savings are amazing. So anything that, you know, anything that you can do on the lending side to help me on the buying side with the buyers, you know, accomplish is, you know, we'll take the win. Every penny counts. We need to stretch them, we'll stretch them. It just takes, you know, a great team to kind of guide you along, guys. Just keep that in mind always. It's talking to the right people.
Absolutely, and this is just kind of scratching the surface level here, because, you know, 10,000 is almost I dare I say standard in today's environment to ask for that much. So I've had buyers get 15, 20, and even up to 25. There's not necessarily a limit to the dollar amount you can receive from for concessions, and obviously the more you get, the merrier it'll be when it comes to your rate and your payment and even your cash to close. So
Right, because then you can walk into a home with little to, I'm not going to say no money down, but it could potentially happen. Again, everything is case by case. So it just really depends. And every situation, every buyer is different, every seller is different. Um, but there definitely is opportunity. So with this permanent buy down and talking about the temporary one last week, if we were to compare them side by side, because they do sound similar, and if I don't know what the difference is, how can you explain it where it's like, how do I know which one's best for me?
yeah, so that's where I come into play and help you navigate and explain all the different options. But if I
Okay.
zoom out a little bit more, this one is looks a little busy, but I'll walk you through it. This is a comparison of what a temporary buy down versus a permanent buy down would look like.
Okay.
So I'm going to start here in this column, first column. This is what the rate will be in year 3 through 30. 6.125% monthly payments coming out to 2007-14. Um, but with the temporary, again, you get 2% lower for the first year, and then 1% lower the second year. Excuse me, and then you go back to your year 3 through 30. So there's significant savings up front with the temporary buy down, as you can see here with these payments. 2,200 in the first year, 2,400 in the second year, versus a permanent buy down. You're still going to save monthly, but maybe not as deep as you would in that first year of the temporary buy down. Pretty similar to what your payment will be in year 2 of the buy down. Um, and obviously, you can see the payments are going to be pretty similar.
So by permanent, then that means that that interest rate that we get, if we do the permanent, then it carries throughout the 30-year fixed.
Correct. It is there for the life of the loan until you
Okay.
refinance. If there's another opportunity to, say maybe go to 4.75%, you can refinance and do that and save a few more bucks. But this is a fixed payment, and I'm sorry, rate and payment for the entire life of the loan.
So these scenarios are based on 400,000 purchase price and a $10,000 seller credit or seller concession, meaning we apply that money that I negotiate on your behalf to buy down the interest rate.
That's
Correct?
correct. That's 100% correct. So again, when you see as a home buyer, potential home buyer online, or you're looking at open houses and it's advertised that the seller is willing to give $10,000. This is what they really mean. This is what they want to say, or what they want to show you is $10,000 can save you $483 in the first year on the temporary buy down, or $217 in that life of the loan on that permanent buy down.
Right. So then just keep in mind that not always it's advertised, because there's a couple of reasons why this could happen. Sellers don't know about it. The listing agent doesn't know about this program. If they don't have the experience and it's not being advertised, or you're not seeing it, then your buyer agent, the one representing you as the buyer, is the one that's going to come in play to negotiate with the listing agent and the seller to get you this kind of seller credits to buy down the interest rate, if only if it works um, or to help you in the best possible way. Because remember, with the lender and the real estate agent, we kind of, and the buyer, of course, we kind of plan this out and see what makes the best or the most sense for you.
Yeah. So these are the type of things that we show you as the buyer as you look at a home and you're interested and you want to submit an offer. We run these numbers and see what it looks like. Which one would you prefer? And then you and I, together as a team, reach out to the listing agent and explain to them how we're structuring their offer, why we're structuring the offer, how it benefits the seller, and we create a win-win-win situation for all parties involved. So,
Right.
it truly does take a dream team of professionals in order to execute a plan like this. And that's why we never say, we're going to rush into something. We want to be strategic, and this market gives us the time and space and opportunity to do exactly that so that you get the best possible deal.
So the big question is, can anybody, generally speaking, use this kind of program?
Uh, yes, generally speaking, anybody can qualify or can use this program. It's eligible on all loan types: FHA, VA, conventional, jumbo, um, and it follows standard qualifying requirements. So yes,
But not every lender has this program.
correct. Not every lender has the program. Not every lender is familiar with the program and how to structure it. There is a particular way to write it on your contract, in your purchase contract, and there's also a way to structure it on the financing side to avoid high cost and predatory lending laws that prevent lenders from charging excessive fees and costs in order to obtain a loan. So it is very important that you work with a lender again that's familiar with it, that knows how to do it, and can navigate the ins and outs and the nuances of it.
Right. Solar detached and reset is saying can't beat a win-win. That's right. That's what we all want. We really want to help our clients um, have a positive experience, but on top of that, have a win-win situation. But it's always greater when you can help both sides, not only the side that we're representing, but also on the sell side, because everybody's trying to get the most out of a sell and a buy. And it's just a meeting of mind, guys. And it's knowing how we can make everybody get there, right?
Right.
Hold their hands. So just reach out, ask questions. We're here to help. That's all we're trying to do is guide, direct, educate you, the consumer, whether you're a buyer or a seller, you're just thinking about it, you just want to toss the idea around.
Yeah, this is what we like you said, this is what we do. This is what I enjoy the most is kind of playing around with the numbers and finding out what your short-term and long-term goals are, and structuring a loan that fits those needs. And it's not something that happens overnight. There's a lot of information to digest, uh, especially as a first-time home buyer or even as a move-up buyer and you haven't bought in 3, 4, 5 years, whatever the time frame may be. There's a re-education process that goes along with buying a home. We've gone from one extreme to the next, and there's a lot of different factors involved. That again, we want to be able to take our time, make sure you feel informed, confident, and you know, uh, very very strategic about one of the biggest purchases of your life.
Right. Okay. Well, as always, we try to make them short and sweet. This one probably went a little bit longer, but we really had exciting news about interest rates if you haven't heard. But right. But now we've dropped almost a full percent per Julian, right? Because he's the mortgage expert. I'm not. I just repeat what he says.
Yeah, pretty close to it, and we're continuing to see improvements in the market. Again, it changes from one day to the next,
That's right.
sometimes multiple times in a day, and there's 16 plus data points that go into quoting an interest rate, so it's not a one size fits all situation or equation. So the best thing to do is to reach out and, again, we'll answer any general questions you have, address any concerns you may have, talk about the next steps in the process, and, again, kind of guide you through each step of the way.
Yes, make sure if you like the information we're putting out there, make sure you like it. You share it with somebody that might be needing to hear this. Comment if you want to hear anything in particular. Reach out, DM us, let us know. As always, we're going to leave all details below so you can contact us if you have anything that you need. We're here to help. And I think that ends the live stream for today, unless you want to add anything else, Julian.
No. So next week, right, we're gonna be right back here at the same time, same place, and going
2:30
over
p.m. Arizona time.
the home buying process, right? So once
Yes.
we're under contract, kind of helping you understand what that entails and what to expect. So if you have any questions, reach out to us. We'll queue them up, make sure they get answered.
Yes, for sure. So see you next week, next Wednesday, 2:30 p.m. Arizona time. Thank you to those who joined. It seems every time there's a little more viewers out there taking a look at what we have to say, and it's greatly appreciated to have you here. Thank you, Julian, for your time, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you guys. Take care. Have a wonderful day.
You as well.